Alright guys, hello again. I think it's finally the video that my mic isn't too loud. Sorry about the last videos about that. But yeah, I think everyone can turn the volume down a little bit if they want to for the last ones. But this one, I guess you can have it even in the maximum and shouldn't be too bad. Maybe a little bit less, but who knows. Anyways, this guide is about ideologies. And we're going through all three of them, and then I'm going to tell my final thoughts about them. And I think my final thoughts are already in the middle of the way, but anyways, since I did my last video about social policies, then this time is about the ideologies. That is also a very significant way to play this game, and it kind of determines who's going to win the game in general. So yeah, it's pretty difficult. And remember, guys, that who are new to my channel, that I play with the Emperor difficulty usually, not the Immortal or Deity level. So I'm not sure if they would work on these levels as well as they do on Emperor. But anyways, I will tell about the advantages and disadvantages of each and one of them. So first we have freedom, and as you can see, that allows the construction of Statue of Liberty. That one is one of the best wonders that I've noticed before in my wonder tier list video. This one gives you more production because you always happen to have some specialists, and when you have new cities, even better. I think this wonder alone is already something that freedom is pretty good to pick because of that. So yeah, I think this is a reason alone already. But of course, if somebody has already built it or is ahead of the technology or production or something like that, some AI, then might be not worth of going for that. But in general, yeah, kind of needs Statue of Liberty to have freedom maximized in a full extent. And yeah, let's start with this avant-garde, which gives you 25% of great person. And I think it's pretty nice to have. That's usually the basic ones that I pick for freedom, because this allows me to be more cultural to the other civilizations. And with the ideology, it starts with whether building 3 factories or researching radio, right? And usually people are rushing radio or rushing to get those 3 factories out pretty soon. So you might be the first one to establish ideology for a long time. Sometimes it happens that some AI has coal in their lands and builds those 3 factories and gets kind of in the same range, same area, or same timeline that you are getting the ideology. I've had it only once that the AI was picking it before me, the ideology. So I think usually I get them pretty fast or pretty early on, whilst the AI takes a little bit longer. So yeah, getting those 2 tenets is pretty good. And when you pick freedom, then I usually pick avant-garde for the first one. That is giving me great person generation. That means all the great person, great scientists as well, great engineers that are game decisive. So it's like a Tower of Pisa, and it's pretty nice to have, and it stacks well with that. And yeah, it's a nice bonus to have. And freedom is pretty good that you can pick that. But I think order also has the same thing, so it doesn't make it that much stronger than order. But I will get to that later. And next up we have creative expression. Creative expression, and that gives you 1 culture from each great work. I mean, that one is usually not that good, because even if you go for the cultural win, then you might have around like 10 great works at the time, and it's not the first ones to pick. Because if you have 10 great works at the time, then it gives you 10 culture, and at this stage of the game, it's not that important anymore. You can just build the statue of the Christ or something to have it better cultural benefits or picking social policies faster. But yeah, one culture from each great work, it doesn't really buy me off that well. There's much better bonuses even in the social policy trees that I would take instead of that. So yeah, if you have, I mean, 25 great works or something like that, then might be coming handy, but I usually pick it as my last ones. So yeah, after I've done all the rationalist tree as well at the same time. And next we have civil society. Means that specialists consume only half of the normal amount of food. And now this one is a very good bonus because that allows your cities to grow magnificently big, and you can have a lot of specialists in your cities instead of just keeping them on the farm tiles, or even keeping more of them in the mines is already very beneficial. So I think this one is really good. That's one of the first ones that I pick in addition to this great person generation. And yeah, if you have more like citizens, you can get science faster, you can get production faster, you can get better amount of gold if you have them in the marketplace, for example. So yeah, it's kind of everything. Even you can have more of them in generating you those great artists and stuff that is giving you tourism and culture in the first place. And yeah, I think it's a pretty nice bonus to have, and one of the most essential ones to pick unless you are in a big trouble with happiness. So yeah, then we have covered action. Spies have double the chance of successfully rig city-state elections. Now this one is pretty bad because I never almost pick it unless I'm up against some kind of like Alexander or somebody that is like putting all the spies to the city states and trying to convert them. But usually the AI only puts one of their spies to the city state, and they are going to deal with only one of them. And you can prevent them to being successful in there because you can have a better spy in there, and basically then your influence will be more powerful than theirs. Or you can have your own spies there. So I don't think that is that good because maybe, yeah, if you are like using this button that rig the election and then get your spy killed, then maybe. But if you just having them in the normal process, you have 20 turns until they rig the election, so it's not going to be that useful because you are going to do it anyways. I mean, there might be like 10 city states in the game, and Alexander putting one of their spies in one of them, and some other AI maybe puts another one. So you have 8 other city states that you can put your spies in and rig the city state election anyways. So I don't think that this one is very useful. Maybe only if you are like need one city state in your site, definitely, and then you can put your spy there. But I think the other bonuses that you can get is much better than this one, so I never use it by myself basically. And then we have capitalism that gives you +1 happiness from mint, bank, and stock exchange. Now the thing with mint is that you might only have it in one or two of your towns. That doesn't give you too much. With the bank and stock exchange, you are usually going to build them in a pretty big amount. So yeah, that's pretty nice to have. And I think it's if you have them like 6 banks and 6 stock exchanges, then you have plus 12 happiness already. That's a pretty nice happiness bonus, but it's not the best in the game. So if you are in trouble with that, with happiness, then this one can be a good thing. But I often find myself in the situations where there's banks and stock exchanges need a little bit more time before I build them, because I have other things to build, like universities, like public schools, research labs, everything like that. That is more essential than the gold generator. So I kind of like don't like this bonus too much. Maybe it will be beneficial in the end when I already have bank and stock exchanges in my towns. but not at the start when I need to build those science buildings to get myself ahead of the AI. And yeah, so this one can come in handy, but a little bit later. So it's not the best bonus to have, but it's pretty decent, and especially when you have those banks and stock exchanges, when you like focusing on research agreements and for the money instead of like building research labs and stuff, then yeah, maybe. Or army. When you don't have to build army, then it's also really nice to have. So if you don't have to build army, then you can always build bank or stock exchange. And next up we have economic union, +3 gold from each trade route with freedom civilizations. That's one of the worst benefits to have, because nobody really picks freedom unless you have like Morocco in your game, or I think some others was also picking freedom usually, but usually they are not. They are only picking, AI is only going to pick freedom if you pick something else. So I don't see that coming useful and game changing in maybe you can have like one trade route to this civilization, and others you are sending to other civilizations because of this culture bonus, and then you get +3 gold every turn, which is not really useful. So that's I usually pick it even later than this +1 culture from each great work, because if you have at least 10 culture in a turn, it's better than having 3 gold every turn. So yeah, I don't see a point in this one. So there might be like one AI that you can trade with, and that's not going to help you too much. And then we have universal healthcare that gives you 1 local happiness from every national wonder. And sorry. Anyways, that one can become handy, because you don't need to wait for building a bank or stock exchanges after you build your science buildings, or wonders that you need to build, or army that you need to build at this point, because I think at the time that you have those banks and stock exchanges, you have to focus on an army already to make up your war plans. And +1 local happiness from every national wonder might be better than this one, because you would have some national wonders already built. On paper it doesn't sound very well that you have like 5 national wonders and you get 5 happiness, but sometimes this 5 happiness is exactly what you need to get to have your civilization happy. And remember, when you pick nationalism social tree, then you get +10% bonus of if your civilization is happy. So I think this one can be useful, and sometimes I even pick it when I have problems with happiness. And because as for national wonders, you usually build the ones that is this library or the first one that is the science one. I don't remember how was it called, but anyways, there was a library that you can build or something that gives you science. And then you have this Oxford University. After that you have this what was it called, the one that gives you production, Ironworks, I think. Yeah, Ironworks, that you definitely need. Maybe you need East Indian Trading Company. Then there's already 4 of them. If you're going for the cultural win, you have also Hermitage, and then you start expanding your civilization after building that. And you will have at least 5 of them, if not more, because there's also other stuff like Palace that gives you 1 happiness, and yeah, I think around 5 local happiness is usually what you go for. And think about national wonders that you build some of them later on as well. Oh, sorry, there's I think it went crazy a little bit here. But yeah, you build some of them on the later on as well, and that will be, I was here. So like the one that I like to build is this thing that gives you +50% of tourism. I think it was tourism, and that would be very useful to have when you're going for the cultural win or for the ideology pressure. I think this is a little bit weird here. So yeah, I hope that it's not going to bother too much anymore. And we have level 2 benefits that is opening kind of big 2 of these level 1 benefits. You can have one level 2 benefit, and it has volunteer army, 6 units are maintenance free, and receive 6 foreign legion units immediately. Now this benefit is sometimes the one that is decisive to big freedom, because I don't understand why is it jumping so much. Sorry, I'm going to pause the video here. Let's see, maybe I can. Alright, I guess it doesn't jump that much anymore. Let's go back to it. So 6 units are maintenance free and receive 6 foreign legion units immediately. That's very nice to have, because sometimes you need army and you don't want to waste your city's construction production for the army, but instead you want to build other stuff, like those science buildings. So this one helps you to have army, and these are equal to the, I think, riflemen that are pretty nice at the time, and they are good until the AI gets this research lab. I mean technology of the research labs that gives them infantry. And before that, this is very nice, and after that you can upgrade them to infantry yourself, and it will be still pretty nice. And I think it's very nice to have, especially when you want a quick war. If you have built those cannons or artillery already, then I think it's very nice to have 6 more units that are maintenance free, and you can host a war with it or defend yourself. So this is one of the best benefits that freedom has. If you want to have a quick war, then it's possible to rush it with freedom, and that's one of the reasons why to pick freedom in the first place. So yeah, I think this volunteer army is nice, but at some point when you're going for other benefits first, then this might be not so handy anymore, because if you already have infantry in your army ranks and then picking volunteer army, then you don't want to spend all this money to upgrade them, and you just want to have infantry, 6 not foreign legion units, but 6 infantry, troops, and that's much better, right? So at some point it becomes not that useful anymore, but it's always nice to have. So I think it's 50-50 to pick it. Sometimes you need to rush war, and that's one of the best ways to do it. But if you don't, if you're going for the other benefit that freedom has to offer, then what I'm going to cover later, then I think this one will be not that good. Then we have urbanization, and that gives you one local happiness for every watermill, hospital, and medical lab. Now this is the thing. On paper it sounds nice, but you don't usually have watermills. If you have, then just like 2 or 3, because not all your cities are usually on rivers, and they are maybe next to the other places. And then there's hospitals that you might build if you're going for the cultural win. That's also nice to have, but medical labs come really late, and that's usually not that good, because that gives you plus 25% food is going to go to growth if you have citizen born. But at this point your cities will be already like having 20 to 30 people, your first 4 cities, and that doesn't you usually use them already, those people, those citizens, you are already using them for the specialists. They don't grow that fast anymore, and then you have 25 people or 30 people, then you kind of don't need any more of them. And yeah, so medical lab comes too late in the game. I don't think that you ever built them, but hospitals might be useful, because sometimes you have to send caravans to your own cities to make them grow, and with this hospital you can avoid that. You can send your caravan to somewhere else, and or replace it with a cargo ship or whatever, and send it to the other civilization, or get some more money from the city states. So yeah, I don't think that benefit is that good. It gives you around like 4 to 5 happiness, and it's level 2, it's not level 1. So yeah, level 1 benefit would be nice to have like this, but level 2 is a little bit too much for this. I wouldn't pick this. And then we have the finest hour that gives you combat strength of cities increased by 33%. I never picked this one either, because usually the computer, if they attack me, then I prefer to deny them with my troops instead of cities. So yeah, I almost never use it, and it doesn't give you that much. There's better benefits to pick, like this universal suffrage that gives you more happiness, basically, because unhappiness from specialist is halved. That's very nice. That means that if you're having 10 specialists in your town, it's already plus 5 happiness, and you have specialists in all your towns, because you're going to put them in the universities and research labs and everything that gives you science. So yeah, it's very nice. This is the best happiness benefit that freedom has to offer, and it doesn't end there. The golden ages last 50% longer, which is exactly what already Persia does. But this one is a benefit that you can take to yourself without building the wonder of what was it called? I think it was Chichen Itza, right? So basically free Chichen Itza as well. So it's very nice to have, and that's one of the level 2 benefits. That is the first one that I pick. And New Deal is great person improvements provides +4 of the relevant yields. Now this one is the one that I was mentioning before, that volunteer army is one way to play freedom, and New Deal is another way to play freedom. And New Deal is good when you have a lot of this great person improvements, like academies, manufactories. You can put even custom houses on. You can even use great profits for the stuff. And everything. You can even conquer all this computer like manufacturers and stuff, and this will give you +4 of everything. That means even archaeologists, when you're having those landmarks, it gives you +4. Is amazing. It's very good. You have basically one archaeologist is producing you +4 culture, and +4 production from your great engineers, +4 science from your great people, of great scientists. That's one of the things that when you have a lot of them and you have them stacked in your cities, like near your cities, then this one can be very fatal to the AI. So I think this one is very good and a nice way to play this game, that you just build a lot of this great tile improvements and pick this New Deal as your first thing, and gives you massive amount of all this production and science to win the game. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why to pick freedom, and I think it's one of the best reasons why to pick freedom, because the volunteer army is nice, but it's only like for certain amount of time, and after that it's not that useful anymore. But this one will stay with you for all the rest of the game, and that's a very nice benefit to have. And then we have Arsenal of Democracy, 15% production increase towards military units, and gain 15 influence from each military unit gift to city state. Now, I don't know much about this gifting units for military states. I almost never do that because I need them myself. But 15% production towards military units is very nice to have. And this means that you can have your war going on. And yeah, it's pretty good. I like this one. So it's maybe not as good as this one or this one. New Deal and Universal Suffrage is probably the best that it has to offer a volunteer army, but the Arsenal of Democracy can be nice if this volunteer army becomes extinct, or however you call it, obsolete. But anyways, yeah, this is also a nice benefit to have, and I think it's pretty good because it's every military unit you build is faster. and you can host your wars better, you can defend yourself better and everything. So yeah, I like this one. Then we have media culture, plus 34% tourism get generated by cities with a broadcast tower. Now that should be the only tourism thing for freedom, but they say that freedom is basically the tourism thing to go for. But I don't think that freedom is that good of producing tourism, but might be because if you have those land improvements and you build hotels and you have broadcast towers, you build the CNN tower, have every city with the broadcast towers, then it might be stacking a lot. But the thing is that it's level 3 bonus. You're not getting access to it very soon. Yes, you get like 2 joiners benefits, and then you have to pick still 3 benefits before you can get that. And sometimes you need more of these level 2 benefits that you cannot even go for it. So I don't know. This one I've used it sometimes with the cultural win and stuff, but it becomes available a little bit too late for my liking. And the thing is that building broadcast towers is taking a while because you have to build these amphitheaters and museums and opera houses and everything like before that to get the broadcast tower. And that's kind of stupid in my opinion, because you have to build so much stuff that you don't need. They are not essential buildings to have, because you need essential buildings are like library and granary and monument and stuff, but you don't really need an amphitheater that much or that often. So yeah, I don't agree with this benefit, and why freedom should be the best tourism way to win, because in my eyes it's not. And then we have 3D organization, gain +4 influence per turn with city-state that you have trade route to. Now this one will become totally useless if you're having city-state ban the trade with the city-state, and that's because you might have already have them on your side and stuff. And the other thing is that I don't really send my cargo ships to the other city-state, but I send them to the other civilizations, because it generates more culture to them and gives them ideology pressure that they might have to change the ideology to mine, the equal to mine. So when I play freedom, then I want them all to be like freedom ideology, and this one becomes pretty useless. I basically never pick it. And then there's space procurements that may buy spaceship parts with gold. Now on paper it sounds nice, but it usually costs you like 4,000 gold to buy one, or 3,000 gold. So not that beneficial, but in case you have a lot of money, then it might be very good to rush spaceship race. But yeah, I think the better one is probably with the great engineers to just rush them in what is offered by order here. So yeah, I think freedom overall is probably the ideology that I go least for, because it's too much of the niche stuff, like that are specific for specific things that might have to happen in the game, that you pick that. And usually by the time that you pick an ideology, you don't really know how all the game going to go from now on, but you know a bit of it, and then you pick the one that is useful for you and for all what you're doing. And freedom is usually not my playstyle, so I rarely pick it, but sometimes when I pick it, then it can be useful for it with the certain tenets that it offers, benefits that it offers. So order allows the construction of Kremlin. As you saw from my video, last video, Kremlin is one of the worst, let's say, special buildings for these ideologies. Gives you a social policy, and armor units are cheaper to build. But usually you don't build that many armor units, to be honest. And social policy is nice. You can get one of these good benefits that ideologies offer, but yeah, I don't think that Kremlin is that good thing to build, is decent, but it's not that good. And armor units is easily replaced like XCOM with the XCOM squad or with nukes and stuff. So why would you ever want to build like, I don't know, modern armor tank instead of like XCOM squad, right? So yeah, I didn't really see too much benefits out of it. So yeah, I will leave it there. So we have Hero of the People plus 25% of person generation. That's the same one as Freedom had, and with Avant-Garde. But Hero of the People is the same one, and basically I always pick it as my first benefits. It's nice to have, and yeah, so we can get more great scientists. Why not? So we have socialist realism that gives you +2 happiness from each monument. Build monuments in half the usual time. That's also a very nice benefit. Gives you a lot of happiness because you will have monument in each one of your cities. That's the basically, if you capture a city, the first thing to build is courthouse, and the second thing to build is the monuments. So monument is if you have a lot of them and you have a big empire, build monuments, stack them, and you can get a lot of happiness out of it. So yeah, I think it's pretty nice to have. Then we have skyscrapers called cost of purchasing buildings reduced by 33%. Might be game changing if you have a lot of gold, but I usually use my gold for the city states, so I don't really have that much gold available, but some people might save it, and also with the big pen stack it might be very useful to have it. So it's for certain playstyles it can work, and sometimes I pick it myself as well when I need to purchase some research lab and I see that yeah, I have a lot of gold, so I purchase a couple of research labs and get more science. Then we have Patriotic War, plus 15% attack bonus when fighting in a friendly territory. That one is almost never useful because at this point of the game you are already like invading somebody, because other than that you wouldn't have a war. You are usually building just enough troops to have AI going for some other AIs, and yeah, I don't see it becoming that handy. So I usually never pick it. Then we have double agents, that spies have double the chance to capture enemy spy when attempting to steal a technology. Well, that doesn't benefit you that much. It just gives your AI closer to the victory with spaceship parts and stuff. But I mean, you can just tell them that don't spy on me, and if you're good friends, then they usually don't spy on you that much. But sometimes, yeah, if you play against Incas or something, they are always going to spy on you. So I don't think it's that good. It doesn't give you too much, and I almost never pick it myself as well, because there's much more other stuff to pick, like this happiness bonuses that gives you +1 local happiness per workshop factory, and hydro plants and nuclear plants, solar plants, very nice. Gives you more happiness, and monument already gives you happiness, and +1 local happiness from each national wonder. I mean, the workshop factory, you are going to build them basically always. Sometimes you don't have gold and you don't build factories, but you already have at least like 4 workshops, maybe even 5, then this one is more useful to pick than this one. So yeah, I think it's good to have like happiness bonuses in the first level. Also, that's why order is pretty good social policy. And then we have, ideology, sorry. But then we have Academy of Sciences that gives you 1+ happiness from observatory, public school, and research lab. And observatories maybe you have like 1 or 2, but public schools and research lab you have in every city. Another good one to have happiness from. If you have trouble with happiness, then this one can get your happiness up pretty fast. Then we have party leadership, +1 culture, food, gold, production, and science per city. Now, this one is one of the last ones that I pick, because at this point of the game, +1 doesn't help you too much anymore. If you have a lot of cities, then maybe it can help you, but I would say that the other benefit that is I'm going to speak about later, this 5-year plan that you already see here, I think is better than this one. So, because you can stack the production instead of like having just one science from every city. That's like 10 science in total, and then by this time that you pick it, you already might have like 900 science, so plus 10 isn't going to help you too much. And then we're going to have resettlement. New cities start with extra 3 population. Can be useful when you started settling too late, but usually it's too late when introduced to the game. If you're having huge map, maybe it can become helpful, or if you like to raise other cities, then can be helpful as well. But in my eyes, it's meh. I would say that it's too late for this. It would be nice to have before, but now it would be too late, and it also screws up your happiness. So I don't think it's that beneficial to take. You can leave in comments if you don't agree with that. But yeah, I would say that resettlement is not what I pick usually with the order. And then we have cultural evolution that gives you plus 34 tourism to other older civilizations. Now this one is a little bit better than this freedom benefit that gives you plus 3 gold with other freedom, because there's usually the AI picks order. They like to pick order all the time, because that's the best ideology in the game, I think. But tourism to the other order civilizations might be very useful, because the ones that pick order might be culture based also. So yeah, can be useful when you're going for the cultural win. Not that useful against like if they went for autocracy or for freedom, then maybe not that useful. But usually these autocracy civilizations are dumb as hell. Let's say that they don't really focus on the culture. They're like I don't know, Shaka of the Zulus and Caesar of the Rome, and then yeah, they are not going to build those cultural buildings. They're going to build other stuff like production and army and gold and science, not some cultural buildings. So cultural evolution becomes pretty handy, yeah, if you go for the cultural win. Then we have workers' faculties that gives you plus 25% science output from cities with a factory. Build factories in half the usual time. That's the best benefit. That's why you should always pick order. That's basically giving you more science and a lot of science. That's why you need to build your cities next to the coal, or conquer the city with the coal, to be able to build factories, and you build them half amount of the time, which means that you can save a lot of turns with building some other stuff like army, and you get plus 25% science bonus, which is very, very huge. And so yeah, I think this one is amazingly good. That's a little bit overpowered in my eyes even, and it's level 2, it's not even level 3, so yeah. And then we have a 5-year plan, which is also very nice, because it gives you plus 2 production per city. That's in general, and then you have 1 production per mine and quarry. Now the thing about the mines is that you have a lot of them, because you will need to buff your production in the early on to get your civilization going. So you might have even like 5 mines in your city, and that means that every city gets basically plus 7 production, which is very, very huge. And that's more than basically 5 stuff that you can get here. Plus 7 is better than plus 5. The basic maths, and I mean, at this point of the game you don't really need food that much, you don't need 1 plus 1 gold that much. You will need production, science, and maybe culture sometimes when you go for the cultural wins. But these 2 are essential for winning the game. So this for military, this for science, and culture is for culture win, and gold is for diplomatic win. So yeah, I think this one is better than party leadership. I tend to pick this workers' faculties first, but this means that only if I have access to coal, and then this one second. But sometimes you could argue that you can pick this one first and then this one second. But I tend to build workers' faculties first, because of more science and stuff, gives you everything. Then level 3, we have dictatorship of the proletariat. So plus 35% tourism to a civilization that has less happiness. Now the things that with happiness, this functions first has a lot of happiness that you can pick, but with freedom it gives you specialist happiness. I think is better than all this happiness combined. Order has problems with happiness sometimes, so this one becomes useful when your empire isn't too big. It's like reasonable amount of big, but it's not too big. So I think this can work sometimes when you have when you're going for the tourist win, and since order has 2 tourism bonuses, and remember that basically freedom had only 1, then I would rather call it to better cultural win chances than with freedom, this ideology. And then we have Iron Curtain, free courthouse when capturing a city. Very nice, plus 50% of food and production from internal trade routes. So free courthouse when capturing a city can be nice when you're going for the war, but not always. Sometimes you don't mind when they're going to end their riots. You're going to build it anyways with like 2 turns. So I don't think it's essential bonus to have, but it's sometimes nice to have, and it's not too bad either. And plus 50% food and production from internal trade routes might be useful when you have them, but at this point of the game I almost never use my own trade routes anymore. I would rather build a hospital to get food in my cities, or as for production, I tend to not use it that much because you can already get production in 5-year plan. So internal trade routes, it is introduced a little bit too late. It would be very beneficial when it was like in the early on, like some social policy or something. But as for level 3 ideology benefit, maybe not that much. And then we have space flight pioneers. May finish spaceship parts with great engineers, or great engineer and great scientist appear near the capital. Very nice, because obviously with great engineers, if you can rush the spaceship parts, it will be building in 1 turn, and you can get them for free. And great engineer and the great scientist appear near the capital. Very nice. You can rush some technology, and you can rush another spaceship part, so, or some wonder that you want to build. So I think it's very nice to pick, and at the late game. So order in general, I would say that it's definitely the best ideology, or I would argue maybe with autocracy, but definitely better than freedom. So yeah, I don't know. Like I would say that basically if you want to go for the science win, like regular win, and or the military win, then order can be very nice already. But usually it's the best one for the science win, so that's why a lot of people and AIs pick it. And it also has some other bonuses that you can use, like culture bonuses and stuff. So yeah. Then we have autocracy. Autocracy allows the construction of Prora. And Prora is, as I said, very nice, nice one to have, and it has, wait. Alright, so let's continue with this. Sorry about that, I had to go for a moment. And then we have, autocracy and construction of Prora gives you more happiness for each social policy that you have adopted, ideologies included. That means that at least plus 10, not even plus 12 is already from the social policies, and when you pick 2 of the joiners benefits, it's plus 14 happiness, which is very, very nice. It's more than Notre Dame, and it becomes available in a pretty reasonable age when you start to have your wars and stuff. So I think Prora is a very good wonder to build. It's not as good as Statue of Liberty, but it's still almost as good. So I think it's very nice to pick autocracy already for happiness stuff, happiness reasons. And for me, I think autocracy in general is a little bit underestimated ideology. I would argue it's almost as good as order. and definitely better than freedom for me. I mean, freedom I use sometimes, yeah, but autocracy I use more often when I'm like militaristic. So why is it so good? First of all, let's see. Elite forces, wounded military units inflict 25% more damage than normal. Very good because I mean, you can host wars that you cannot lose, and that's already a very good benefit. That's basically an honor that you didn't have to adopt and choose a benefit there that you can just get with adopting one benefit. That's very nice. Then we have mobilization. Cost of purchasing units reduced by 33%. As for order, they had skyscrapers that you can purchase the research lab, but here you can purchase the units to achieve your goals, to maybe conquer some civilization that has more science than you do. So this one is also very nice. If you have a lot of gold, purchase those units, purchase like artillery, mobile mobile artillery, all these mobile SAMs and stuff that protect you from planes, because computer likes to build planes and stuff. Is amazing how good all these level 1 benefits are for the autocracy. Then we have United Front. Militaristic city-state give units twice as often when at war with a common foe. Now this one maybe I have mixed feelings about, because sometimes, like most of the times, I'm never going to make it. But if I have those city-states on my side already, and I have at least 2 of the militaristic city-state, then those extra units for free isn't too bad. And that is going to give me more units and means that I can host wars. So very nice. And now we're going to the best benefit of autocracy. Plus 250 tourism to all civilizations when a great writer, artist or musician is born. Now this one is amazing, because if you are like in trouble with all those AIs, if those AIs are telling you, denouncing you or whatever, they don't want to trade with you, you can still have tourism on their lands without having open borders or like those crazy deals or whatever. Like computer is always trying to rip you off with the deals and stuff. With let's say that you are buying luxury from them with a 9 gold per turn, but they can buy you from 7 gold per turn. Anyways, this one is more tourism than any other ideology is going to create you. Because maybe in order, when you get those benefits, yes, you can, but this one becomes available very early on and gives you amazing amount of culture, like tourism in a very early age. You can already have a head start for everybody, and this is very nice. Sometimes I use it just because I take autocracy just because to have this culture win faster than it should be. So yeah, this is yeah, I cannot even express you how good is this. You have those 2 specialists in the writer's guild, 2 specialists in the artist guild, 2 specialists in the musician's guild, and produce truckload of these, and get a lot of tourism going on with all the other like archaeologists and stuff. So even if you don't go for the war, if you go for the culture, it's the best way to win. If you basically, autocracy gives you culture and it gives you military. Order gives you science most of all, and then this freedom gives you maybe a little bit of war, and then this culture. But diplomacy win is best with the freedom, I guess. Or I think diplomacy win is also good with autocracy, because yeah, you usually have city states on your side, and they are going to give you a lot of stuff. Then we have industrial espionage, spies steal technologies twice as fast. Now this one I don't agree that much with, because usually the computer is a little bit behind me at this point of the game. Maybe if I played higher difficulty, then they will be ahead. But yeah, I basically never pick it because I already have my spies like defending my city capital from other spies, or they are in the city states and trying to win some influence. Then we have fortified borders, that gives you 1 happiness per castle, arsenal and military base. You almost never build castles, arsenals, because they are useless with walls and stuff. Military bases, maybe you build, or was it the yeah, military academy is the one that you're going to build, but military base you never build. So this one is completely useless. You never pick this one. And then there's universal healthcare, gives you 1 happiness from each natural wonder. That's nice to have when you need very fast happiness, but other than that, I would never pick it. Now, the thing about autocracy is that their best benefits with the happiness is in here, level 2, right? And usually it takes you a while to get there. And this +1 local happiness from each natural wonder, yeah, +5 happiness doesn't give you much, but sometimes you are forced to pick it instead of those great benefits that are here, right? So, so yeah, I kind of find it a little bit funny because everybody is going for this next benefit, that is level 2 benefit, that gives you +2 local happiness every barracks, armory, and military academy. Now these ones are the ones that you can build and you can find them useful because you can get more experience to your guys and get some more happiness out of it. Like building a Colosseum with level up. So yeah, I think it's very nice, and the barracks are very cheap to build in the first place at this point of the game. So it will get you a lot of happiness. I think it's the best benefit for the happiness in the game. So if you are struggling with happiness in your games, just pick autocracy. Like really, it's really good. Then we have great generals receive +3 movement, lightning warfare. Armor units receive +1 movement and 15% attack bonus, and ignore enemy zone of control. Yeah, if you're going for the tanks, can be good because if you ignore the zone of control, means that you can flank them very well, and that's can be very beneficial. And great generals receive movement is also good, and armor units also receive movement. So yeah, can be good in certain situations. I don't usually pick it because I don't build that many armor units, and there's better bonuses to take. So yeah, that can be good sometimes when you are in the late game and you need to have wars with the military units that are all like armored. Then we have police state, very good, +3 happiness from each courthouse, build courthouses in half amount of user time. Very nice if you have a very big empire, you have truckload of courthouses because you have captured so many cities. Maybe, yeah, some of you would raise them and then build your own city there, but I usually like puppet them or something and then annex them later. So yeah, I don't know, this one is very good for me, and I usually pick it even before the barracks and stuff. But of course, if you raise the cities, then don't pick it, pick this one instead, get more happiness with that. Then we have a nationalism that unit maintenance cost is reduced by 33%. Very nice. I mean, more gold, and you usually have a lot of troops when you pick autocracy in the first place. So this one is very good to have, and you can get maybe out of the debt, or even get even more money in your forces and stack it with this mobilization, purchase some units. So this one is very good, and gold is always useful. Strategic resources provide double quantity, there's alternative, +5 food and +5 science in the capital. Now +5 food in the capital is very nice, +5 science in the capital is also okay, because it still gives you stuff, but strategic resources provide double quantity. I don't know about that because I never use up my oil or my coal. If I have the coal, maybe coal I would use up, but it becomes pretty useless in the end when you have only units that are costing you aluminum or uranium or oil, right? Like battleships and this rocket artillery, and then we have the nukes. So I don't think it's that good. Maybe if you want to have a lot of nukes, can be useful. This can be nice, decent, but I think I would rather pick a nationalism. I don't know about you guys. And this one, So I never get to this point that this can be too useful anymore. So yeah, I usually tend not to pick it. Sometimes I need it, but when I don't have that many strategic resources. But yeah, usually in my games I almost never pick it. And then we have Total War, plus 25% production towards military units, and new units receive 15 experience. Very, very good. That means that you can build your units faster, even faster than with the freedom benefit, and that's level 2 benefit. And I usually pick this one, this one, this one, and this one. So yeah, militarism, police state, nationalism, and total war. And as for autocracy in general, basically all these level 1 and level 2 benefits are so good that you can keep taking them and still be having useful stuff to take. With I think with the freedom is you might run out of useful stuff to take because they are divided into 2 categories to win the game. But with autocracy, you already know that you are going to focus on your military or for your tourism or for even the city-states. It benefits them all, but in a way that you can still pick the ones that is best for you. In freedom, you are maybe forced to take something that you completely useless that doesn't benefit you that much. So yeah, I think autocracy is that in that way it's very underestimated. Then we have a cult of personality, plus 15% tourism to civilizations fighting common enemy. It can be useful sometimes, but at this point of the game I would say that I'm usually this warmonger myself and nobody really wants to join the war that I'm going to fight, so it barely ever comes useful, so I never really take it. Very difficult to, very niche thing to have, and maybe could be useful with freedom or something, or with order when you're friends with everybody, but with autocracy I don't see it that well working. I think that the first one, the futurism, is much better because it ignores the friendships and stuff. It's like the bread and butter for this. Then we have gunboat diplomacy, gain 6 more influence per turn with the city state that you can demand the tribute from. Military units are 50% more effective at intimidating city states. Now, this one I've been using in one of my games, and that was pretty good because if you're like having the islands games and you have a truckload of navy, you're going next to the city state that is under somebody's control. Let's say that Alexander is in your game, or Pedro, or whatever. If they are in other people's control and they are not friends with you, then you can always intimidate them, get some money out of them, and you can even, I mean, influence. You have to keep your army there. That's not very good. But if you're having like this effectiveness of intimidating them, this one gives you an opportunity to have less units there next to them. And if you have a way to intimidate all of them like while you're going to attack somebody, that on the road there is some city state that is under this guy's control, under this AI's control, then it can be very, very useful. But in general, almost never used. I personally don't pick it. I would rather have more of these level 1s or level 2s. But the last one here, Clausewitz Legacy, receive plus 25 attack bonus to all military units for the first 50 turns after this tenet is added. Very, very good. That's the end game benefit. When you notice that, okay, right now it's like year like 1860 or 1880, something like this, or 1910 or whatever it is in your game, then 50 turns is a long time, because this is usually when the wars are happening in the late game. So you can conquer everybody, and having bonuses you can do it faster. Very, very nice. I think that's why, and this stacked with elite forces here is making autocracy very, very good. So I don't know why is autocracy maybe that underestimated? Maybe because no AI really wants to pick it, but I like it so much. I almost always go to autocracy when I'm having a bad game with having diplomacy issues with some AIs. Sometimes I do some stuff that it is good for me, or they screw me over, they backstab me, then autocracy and screw them over. Because I mean, with futurism, you're already screwing over a lot of AIs because you will have more tourism than they have. That means that you will have more influence to them than they have, and you don't get the ideology pressure. That's very, very nice. And I mean, it has better tourism than any other of these ideologies. So I don't see the point why, even if you go for the cultural win, don't get along with AIs, but you see that you already had open borders and those things. Maybe you can keep it up for some time, but maybe not. Anyways, this one will help you to win the game, and yeah, I don't see a point why would I go to if I don't go for the science win, if I don't go for the order, then I would go for the autocracy. And freedom I almost never use in my games. I don't really like freedom that much, but maybe there can be some useful things to it. Like in the early on when you pick the ideologies, it has good starting bonuses. But later, the late bonuses are not that great. So if you host a war later, then I mean only this arsenal of democracy can help you, but all these older guys are going ahead of you in science, and autocracy guys are stronger than you militarily. Then you have only two ways to win, and one is culture and the other one is diplomacy. That is not the best ways to win. But diplomacy is sometimes pretty nice to win, but I mean, you can win with diplomacy, with autocracy, with order as well. You don't have to have freedom for that. So freedom is, for me, it's like get you a good head start sometimes, but in the end it kind of fades away from the others. Of course, like with autocracy, you don't get science from anywhere, but other than rationalism, but you can conquer those guys with the science. You can see that. Okay, let's say that Zhejiang, like this Korean guy, is going very fast to science win. You just conquer them. You just use elite forces and this Clausewitz legacy, right? And yeah, I mean, all in all, like I would say that order is still better because it has ways to win as well with the other thing, but the most importantly, it has science win. And as I've said in all my videos, science win is always what people go for. It's how you can beat the AI in the higher difficulties, and that's why order is mostly picked. And science gives you everything in the game. It's overpowered, and I don't know, maybe in Civilization 6 it wasn't that overpowered, but in Civilization 5 and lower it's definitely overpowered. Maybe in Civilization 6 as well, maybe I'm telling crazy stuff. But Civilization 7 I think is coming out soon, next year, and there I think they solved this problem that science isn't that overpowered anymore. But let's see about that, because usually in Civilization games, like, science is your bread and butter to go for, no matter what civilization you play, and that's all the science based civilizations are stronger than the others, like Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar, right, and so on. So yeah, I don't know, if you don't agree with something, you can always leave it in the comments, but I think that's it for this ideology video, or ideology guides. I hope you guys enjoyed, and next weekend I'm not sure which kind of video am I going to do yet, but I hope it's going to be a fun one, and then I will see you next week. Thank you for watching.